it's an iterative process. So sometimes I think I really want to do a systematic review, but then I need to switch gears and do a scoping. And sometimes I start as a scoping and realize I need to be more specific. And so I think it's really the iterative process that helps me decide. Sometimes just the pure number of papers that come available if I'm thinking about doing a scoping. So I think that is part of the conversation that we have, as well as, sometimes it really is a research question. So if I'm, for instance, looking to try to figure out what is the best strategy to move forward with one of my research plans, I might say, let's do a scoping, because then I'm going to have a broader sense of what's available in the literature. And then I'm going to choose, say, an intervention or a strategy that's going to be the most proven or best proven to try to address this research question. In other instances, for instance, I was doing a systematic review that wanted to know the specific screening rates in the US over a certain time period. And that was a very specific question. And so I really wanted to dig into, the systematic review so that we could get at that really specific question.
The tools or methods to develop systematic reviews, I think, is also evolving constantly. Because as we get away or expand to other areas beyond the clinical question, the drug A versus drug B, then you need methods that are useful to capture evidence coming from other fields and other type of evidence. So because not everything can be done with a randomized control trial. So I think those things are growing. The need and use, the demand for systematic reviews, and the way we develop systematic reviews.
One time we were putting together a review, and when we were going through and doing the data analysis, we were pulling out variables, and two of the variables, one was looking at a process that happened and the other was looking at an outcome. And it became clear that these were really two different reviews and that we were going to need to analyze them separately. So we had our first student take the lead on the outcomes piece. That's the part that had the most data and was the easiest to pull. And then we saved the process, and that actually a student in the next cohort was able to take that data. So really we got two reviews for the Worka 1, which was really great because it helped us to really think about how are these separate and how can we dig into that data even more, which I think is a really great part of the review process too, is sometimes you get more data than you ever even expected to begin with. And you can ask more questions. You can have follow-up studies even within the data that you've generated. So I also have a student now who's working on a clinical condition, and they were able to pull information not only on the genetic testing that's being used in this condition, but also on the natural history. So she'll again have two different reviews, one looking at the natural history of the condition and the other looking at what kind of genetic testing is currently being used for individuals with this condition. It really kind of depends on the research question as well as this iterative process about how we get to that specific review.